were you going to say?
Well, other than just like actual rigorous practice, because that's all that it takes, is just reading, reading material on your own time and really immersing yourself in the material that's involved. Why? Because even though you may not be necessarily practicing something, again, like, it won't really work very well with some subjects. You can't learn judo from a book,
Yeah.
but you can learn history.
Oh, yeah.
And you can learn the stories behind history. Why? Because whenever you dive into a book and just read through it, you can apply the experiences of the people that lived 200 years before you in your own lives. And that's I love reading history. I love reading biographies of people. It's a beautiful thing.
That's a very good point, because I think one of my favorite history classes was like, we didn't really learn just history. It wasn't, lecture after lecture of just history. It was, what did this guy do, or what was his story? It wasn't about just the idea of the Civil War or whatever it was. It was the people.
Exactly.
That's that's what history is. It's the history of our people. It shouldn't be just ideas or what happened.
Exactly.
And we need to put ourselves in the place of the people at the time. It shouldn't just be
exactly
the lecture.
And another thing too, I have to mention this about history too, and it has something to do with this, this mentor-mentee dynamic that we were talking about, was that a good history teacher, I mean, not even just a good history teacher, a great history teacher is the guy that has gone out and done it. Somebody that's traveled, gone to the places, met the people, lived the experience. The best history teacher that I've had was John Vallis, and you had Mr. Vallis too.
Yeah.
I have huge respect for this man because he went to Greece and he saw those places that we were talking about. He went to all those places, and and you gain so much more insight from somebody who not only teaches history,
he's been there,
but he's been there, and he could share so much more, and you could glean so much more from that. I think it's like, it's another thing about, since we were talking about how I didn't really like school all that much. It has a lot to do. I have a certain level of respect for people that have gone out and done it. If you've learned something from the book and you haven't gone out and done it, you're not a teacher. You're a book.
Yeah.
You memorized all of it.
Exactly.
You're a parrot that just repeats everything that you were told.
Yeah. And the problem with that is that that's what college is really making right now, is people that are just books. They're just people who are just parroting books.
Exactly.
And that's a big problem with the college system today, I think, is that we're not sending people out of college knowing how to do these things, hands-on. They know it, they've been doing it. They're just people who know, it's just
exactly
words. It's not like hands-on stuff.
It generates marine biology teachers that have never been to the ocean. It generates Greek history teachers or, Latin teachers that have never been to Rome. It's just, I just really don't like that, And I mean, it has a lot to do with the fact that, teachers I'm pretty sure that there was a study that I've seen before that teachers in in high school commonly are the bottom third of their class in college. And when I saw that study, I was like, that makes so much sense, you have no idea.
Yeah.
That explains everything.
It's really bad that I think the people that get put as teachers in like high schools or professors at lower level colleges they're just people who weren't really meant for that position, that they're just they're falling back on this position.
Yeah.
And it's not who we should have teaching, the people of tomorrow, if you want to be poetic about it. But I think just the big problem with these kind of things is that these teachers and these professors are being put in, it's not really the teachers' faults that they're, teaching these subjects that aren't really necessarily what they want to teach. We had our history teacher that really had a passion for, the Greek history, the Western civilization. And I think that's because he had a heritage in that, he had a heritage in that, and plus he'd been there, several times, and he'd been there with students, and he's had those experiences. But, that's like maybe 1% of the teachers and professors we have
Absolutely.
experienced the trained, I mean, not even trained, but just experienced. They've been there, they've lived it, and I think that's where just a big problem.
Yeah.
It's just the system that we have.
Yeah.
And those classrooms that are, in high school where they're like 40 students, where we completely lose that apprentice mentor mentality. And then the college classrooms where there's like 400 students in there, and then you have one professor, and you don't get the chance to talk to the professor at all. That
Exactly.
that completely blows out of the water the idea of mentor apprentice relationship in it.
Exactly.
You just can't learn that way.
Yeah.
You end up getting 1% of a knowledge gain, permanent knowledge.
Exactly.
That comes out of that class, and it's just such a waste of time, such a waste of life.
Yeah.
It's
What else could have you been
bad.
doing with that time?
Exactly. You could have been applying that stuff.
Exactly.
Could have been,
Just pursuing other pursuits that were worth your time.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's always a question that runs across every single mind of every single student that I know, and no teacher likes to answer it. Professor blank, when am I ever going to use this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, when you blah blah blah. No. Chances are you're never going to use this ever.
Yeah. That's really...
I'm just paid to do my job. Now shut up.
Yeah. That I've really seen with a lot of, just like all of high school. There's so much of that.
Yeah.
But then and even the lower level, the requirements from state requirements of colleges and stuff. Although I don't want to put a pin on psychology or something, but those classes that everybody just has to take. There's a bunch of people in there who are just taking it because they have to take it.
Yeah.
That's not what college should be at all.
Exactly.
It should be, I'm doing this so that I can go out into my field, get a job, and know what I'm doing.
Yeah.